Welcome back. Tuesday afternoon, hanging with James. And as you can see, we just keep winning. Why do we just keep winning? I'm not going to ask because, never ask. Or what do they say? Never look a gift horse in the mouth. That's basically where I'm going with that. But we just keep winning. I mean, we're getting leftist women are freaking out, and I don't think anyone really cares. I mean, I could pull some videos up and show you how crazy these people are, but you'll be bored later. You can look it up on YouTube. These women are absolutely crazy. And I have a feeling based on some of the videos that I've seen posted that a lot of them, hey, Windrunner, a lot of them are a lot of these people making videos are really stupid because some of the stuff they're saying could actually have Secret Service, FBI, etc., showing up to your house to ask you some questions. You know what I mean? And and these idiots don't seem to know that. It's like they just don't seem to get it. Like, don't go online on your TikTok or whatever and start talking about trying to remove the president elect from the census. Don't do that. Don't do that to anybody. Marxist culture is mostly astroturf, and there's actual grassroots disgust for federal government. I agree, and institutions agreed that have done nothing but lie to us for my lifetime. These people, yeah, the women, you almost have to feel bad for them, I guess. The ones that are shaving their heads and wearing the blue bracelets and talking about divorcing their husbands, blah blah blah. It's like, I'm kind of caught between pity and just, I don't know, indifference, because it's like they believe stuff, but the stuff they believe isn't true, and that makes it weird, because they're talking about how dare you vote for blah 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 blah, and then they say a bunch of stuff that everybody on the planet knows isn't true, and then they talk about divorcing their husbands and not talking to family members ever again. And it's like, okay, this is went from a political movement to like cult like activity, because that's what a cult does. A cult tries to separate you from your family so that the cult leader has more control over you. Obviously, I mean, that's the whole thing, right? So the fact that these people have been trained to remove themselves from their family, yeah, like I said, that's like some Jim Jones shit going on there. What you saying there? Not to mention, we actually can't afford shit right now, right? But they don't care about that. That's what's so strange, right? They want to lean on the virtue signal that they're like super, conscientious, and they really care about people, right? Well, they don't care about the people who are having a hard time feeding their children, because apparently the real, and I've said this, and you know what? I'll say it again. And if somebody don't like it, well, they can kiss my pearly white ass. But it's like everybody knew when the election started what it was going to be about. It was going to be about the one side that just wants a better economy, and the other side that is damned and determined to make it where you can abort a fetus up to 10 months, basically as you would be giving birth to it, kill it, and that side the super pro-abortion side, they don't seem to understand that they're a huge minority. I mean, even amongst women, even like if you went out on the street and asked most women, "Hey, do you agree with like abortion at any time up to 9 months or whatever?" I guarantee you, anywhere in the South or like up in Kentucky and stuff, they'd be like, "Hell no, I don't agree with that." So exactly, like I could walk through my little town, Tateful, and ask women if they agree with unlimited abortion, and I guarantee you, every one of them would say no because they all go to church every Sunday and every Wednesday, and you know what I mean. They believe in God, and they're not degenerates. And well, I'm not going to say none of them in their life have ever been a little bit whorish, but if they get pregnant, then they get pregnant and then they have a kid. And that's why some Kentucky families like mine might have 11, 12 kids, because some people can't stay out of the bedroom. They got nothing better to do, I guess, right? But the thing is it's all a big lie. That's what the thing is. I see you, Bubba. I see you. Oh, the 4 Bs. Yeah. Everything they're doing is like the opposite of, it's like they think marking themselves and not having sex with people and wearing their little blue bracelet is gonna like matter when most men wouldn't have sex with those women if you tried to pay them. One thing I have noticed, because I noticed patterns, all of the women freaking out about this stuff, every single one of them has a nose ring. And that's kind of strange to me because I remember the 90s when, and I keep bringing it up, but in the 90s, if she had colored hair and piercings, she was going to be fun. You know, she was punk rock. You know what I mean? She was probably listening to the Clash and freaking Ramones. And, if you approached her and you chatted her up, it might be a good time for you. But these freaking, they mutated. Now, but anyway, let me get my thoughts. It's like if you go online and you look at all the women complaining, every damn one of them has a nose ring. It's like, yeah, old media is dead. That's what the election proved, actually. I would say Trump's willingness to go on to podcasts like Theo Vaughn and of course Joe Rogan. I mean, Joe Rogan, that guy gets more listeners every single day than all of the mainstream media combined. So the fact that Trump and Vance were willing to take the time out of their day and sit down for 3 hours with Joe Rogan and discuss shit. I mean, how many? I mean, he got votes for that. He did. Because Rogan is very much a centrist kind of guy, maybe even a little left, right? Loves being led around. I don't know what their deal is, but they all got nose rings. And back in when I was in my goth piercing days, like usually you never seen women with nose rings. It was men would have a big freaking septum piercing. That was kind of how it was. But anyway, I'm derailing myself a little bit. It's like they are delusional. Yeah, they are delusional. That's what I got to say about it. It's like you're like, you would like it if they weren't, but they are. They just believe like things that aren't true. Like they're talking all this shit, you know, and they're all single issue voters too. It's like they didn't care about anything. Tired of winning. We're going to keep winning. Does the dude they put in charge of the border, that guy is beast. And he said that Trump's going to declare the Mexican cartels as terrorist organizations, and therefore he'll start wiping their asses out.
I don't know if you saw that all of the organizations coming up said, "We want peace. We want peace."
Yeah, but I was just talking about the American women who are just behaving terribly.
Oh, I've been watching those videos on X.
I agree, Bubba. Rubio got Secretary of State. It should have been. It should.
Yeah, I don't agree with him appointing little Marco Rubio.
Yeah, I would have went with Vivek, honestly, and left Rubio in Florida.
Yeah.
But right now in the Senate, there's basically a war going on because most right-thinking people want Scott in, and the neocons, they want Thune in. Because, and Thune, of course, is saying about how he's got so much experience, working in Washington, which is the exact opposite of what we want. We don't want somebody with a lot of experience working in Washington. I see feet, fuzzy slippers, actually.
Yeah. Sloth slippers. Because I got sloth-like reflexes.
Yeah, it's like the abortion issue is so stupid. And these women that are like, that's their entire motivation all the time. It's all they talk about. And it's like, you would think somebody at some point would be like, that you can still legally get an abortion, right? I mean, depending on the state you're in, you can. I mean, they were doing that shit down here in Florida, which the bill failed because it was stupid. But they were doing all the shit with the, Amendment 3 saves women because Florida has a radical abortion ban, right? It wasn't radical. It was just you can't have an abortion after like the first trimester. I mean, hey, Papa.
Hey, boy.
Privyet.
Is he online talking to you or is he on the phone?
I am online, and I said hello, Privyet.
Yeah, we're doing a lot. He's done a live stream.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think internet's down again.
That's my Papa. I hear my mom in the background too.
Goes down 2 or 3 times a day, every freaking day.
No, only once a day, most days.
That's okay.
And you two should be watching. Support your son. Watch my videos. What's wrong with you? Give him a thumbs
Their
up.
internet's down, idiot face.
It might be up there. I'm going to check it.
The limits they decry. Yeah, they just lie. I saw the 3 and the 4 thing, which both failed down here. And I was all like, oh, legalizing marijuana. Shit, I'm actually for that,
Yeah, I hate people who take drugs, like cops and stuff. Or security. I mean,
this is a whole different tangent, but the problem is my wife actually showed me the bills, like what was involved. And these idiots down here were trying to get abortion like unlimited, like up to 9 months, whatever, right? And the drug thing was not, hey, we're going to decriminalize marijuana in Florida. It was, hey, we're going to sell weed, but the weed is imported from Canada and blah, blah, blah. But if you grow weed, you're still going to go to jail. So it was just like, no. I mean, if the company that was making it had been a local American company here in Florida, I might have been a little different with it. But no. I mean, all you got to do is just say, look, if you catch somebody with under, however much weed, just let them go.
Like it was in Alaska when I lived up there. You could have an ounce on your body as long as it was in one bag and not
And you
rolled
didn't have
up.
scales or anything.
Yeah, if it was for personal use, then they'd be like, yeah, whatever, go on. But if they
Yeah,
had it,
like you could grow up to 12 plants in your house.
yeah, if they had it in separate baggies and they had scales, or if it was rolled up,
Right, if they knew you were going to sell it, then you would get,
it,
you get nailed. Someone smart, Michael. You're someone smart. But yeah, it's just Squirrel Hermit. We were just talking about you yesterday, bro.
squirrel.
And everybody said that Squirrel Hermit, he is a stand-up good dude. That's exactly what everyone said. So,
Because
I'm spilling
Squirrel
that
Hermit
tea.
was
I'm
a good
telling
guy.
you what people were saying behind your back, which is you're a stand-up good dude. And
He's a
everyone,
good guy.
at least the people in the chat like you. And our chat was pretty big last night. I think we hit over 20, for a while.
Yeah, it was a big chat last night. I was in it.
But yeah, I just don't get I mean, first off, I would never have an abortion anyway.
Well, you're not
Because
Mr.
I'm
Garrett.
married, and me and my wife, we were both like, hey, if something happens, it happens. It's God's will. You know what I mean?
And you're not Mr. Garrison.
I know you're trying to make jokes, but stop.
No.
So, it's like these weird women with their nose rings and their shaved heads saying they're not going to have sex with their
Bracelets.
liberal boyfriends anymore for
Well,
4 years. That pretty much answers the abortion question entirely. I mean, if they're not having sex, then they're not getting abortion. So it's like, I don't think they
Trump
thought this thing
Trump
through.
is stopping premarital sex and STDs before he's even in office.
Yeah, that was a thing. That was a thing. If you, hoard around too much, you could catch something. And some of that stuff you can't get a shot for. It's just going to hang out with you.
And Gorlock the Destroyer, it's a liberal, so it's not going to be having sex with people anymore. So that's just a public service.
Right. That's why I'm saying it's a total self-own. But I mean, one of them I was watching was like talking about Satanism and shit like that, and said "Hell Satan" at the end of her speech, and it struck me because I was like, on the DL, that's what the shit is all about.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, Padre, I'm doing a little preaching, even though I'm not a preacher, but on the DL, that whole feminist movement is satanic by nature. And anytime they're talking about destroying the patriarch, well, who is the patriarch? The Father of the Trinity. You know what I mean? The Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Well, the Father is the patriarch. So even if they don't know, they're trying to destroy just the natural order of the universe. They are. And I don't know if a lot of them know, but I have a sneaky suspicion that a lot of them actively have embraced demonic entities.
Well,
Satan,
now they're online telling each other how to have a miscarriage because that's healthy and safe.
Yeah, I saw that one girl on Twitter posted about if you take a bunch of vitamin C. And I posted, I said, Christ have mercy, but I want you to know that you will be held accountable for this.
Yeah.
Because these women, I don't think they know what accountability is. because they've never been held accountable, and or they're fake Christians that think God is just like super all loving and forgiving, and no matter what they do, they'll be fine. It's like you've made a fake God for yourself.
Yeah, I'm not an expert like the DM minister, as Father Aaron is, but I do believe I read in my Bible that it said that when Jesus comes back, he's coming back with a sword.
Well, I mean, I don't like reading Revelations because it's just not my favorite book. I'm a Matthew, part of the
I'm
God.
a Job. I'm a Job type of guy.
Right. So it's like the thing is that we all know, if you're a Christian, is God is good, right? And in order for God to be good, he has to be just. And in order to be just, you have to punish those who break the law. Because if God's not just, then he's not good. But you get the argument. Of course, this is from the Orthodox point of view. God is good all the time, always. And anything that would make you think God isn't good is obviously false. So sin, which some sins are just sins and some sins are actual crimes in the eyes of God, you will be held accountable for it 100%. And these women, it's like, I don't know. I mean, I know we're living in an age where we're fighting a spiritual war against Satan. And it just seems like they're just becoming more blatant, you know? Like, I'm sure all this stuff existed when I was a kid, but I was in the hills, you know, going to church every Sunday with the whole family and never noticed it when I was really little. And remember, Grandma McKee would march us all up the hill to that little church. But now it's like, it seems like it's in your face and they're not even trying to hide it. Let me see. Yeah, that's what they did though, Squirrel Hermit, is like most people, even hardcore Orthodox people like me, will kind of say, okay, the three exceptions, you know, whatever. It should be rare. It should be just a tragic thing, but maybe it has to happen. And hopefully they repent and, you know, go and confess and whatever, right? But you got these chicks out here bragging about their 15 abortions and shit. And the thing they didn't understand is, even though they're acting like it's all white straight men's fault, because apparently Latinos and black people don't oppose abortion, which we all know they do. It's just like demonic. It is demonic, you know? And that's all I can say about that. Be back later. Have a wonderful lunch, Dungeon Minister. Thank you for popping by. You can read scripture and not get that God is a judge if you get the cozy cuddle. Yeah, reading the children's Bible. That's the problem with a lot of, you know, Dungeon Minister is only a step away from orthodoxy, his religion. But some of these Protestants, they're like, all I have to do is say I believe in Jesus, and then I can do whatever I want. And then when they talk to Orthodox or Roman Catholic people, it's like, no, that's not how it works. You can be saved by grace, but guess what? You can lose it too. Like if you say you believe in Christ and then 5 years later go out and start serial killing hookers, guess what? You're not forgiven anymore because you've done evil things. And then some people will be like, well, that's verging on the you have to work for your salvation. And it's like, no, you're not saved by works, but fruit. Good trees are known for their fruit. So, you know, you can claim to be a Christian all day long, but if all you do is evil things, bad fruit, let's say, then that tells the world what you are. You're fake. And, you know, these women, Like everybody's mad at Andrew Wilson on Twitter because he ripped that porn star new ass. This porn star decides to stop being a porn star OnlyFans girl and convert to Christianity, which is great. That's great. That's okay, loving it, right? But she joined some Protestant sect that allows female preachers and stuff. And then she tries to tell Andrew Wilson how Christianity works. And of course, Andrew Wilson, who is a hardcore Orthodox Christian, straightens her ass out. And then everybody's like, he don't gotta be so mean about it though. And he posted and he's like, she's saying heretical things, right? Like Saint Christine, I think, of Sinai, spent 47 years repenting for having been a whore. You know what I mean? But this woman thinks she can just be like, I'm a Christian now. Yay. And it's like, no.
Well,
No.
maybe she's on the right path. She's just not there yet.
I mean, she believes in Jesus, which is better than the alternative. But she needs to understand that you can't spend 20 years of your life being an OnlyFans whore and then immediately say you believe in Christ and think that that's it. You're done. You're
Did
good.
you have a camera at our church this weekend? Because our preacher was talking about that.
What?
How people who say that they're Christian are Christian in church, and then as soon as they get out of church, they go out and start doing sinning and shit like that.
Dude, you can go back and read the church fathers as far back as the 1st or 2nd century. That has been a problem forever.
Yeah.
Anderson's not on Twitter, but if the person in question is the one that looks like she's got blonde hair and everything she was saying from the Bible was absolutely wrong. And Andrew Wilson was just correcting her. And, of course, a bunch of white knights start posting about why do you have to be so mean to her and stuff. But she was literally she was acting like she was teaching Christianity. And everything she was teaching was false. It was false doctrine. And Andrew Wilson was like, no, and that's what I'm talking about. You got to be aware of that. I mean, being a Christian is hard, and you will work every day of your life trying to live up to the cross you bear. So, yeah. Now, if her repentance is 100% sincere and she works on her life and everything like that, then yeah, good for her. That's awesome. Yeah. But
hey, first step was to stop doing OnlyFans.
Yeah, I mean, she took that step. She's trying not to be a whore anymore. So that's good. That's a good thing.
I'm not trying to tout her and say that she's an awesome, but
I know you're a very forgiving guy by nature.
Yeah, sometimes with some things.
With some things, especially when it doesn't actually affect your life.
Exactly.
Like you don't give a shit that some OnlyFans girl converted because what does that mean to you? Nothing.
Exactly. I know where. Well, I hope that I'm under grace.
That is all you can do.
I try my best to stay that way.
Right? No one knows. That's the thing. No one knows. Not only does no one know, no one can say.
Mr. Anderson, right on, dude.
Oh, the one I was thinking of was one of the people like Michael Knowles interviewed and held up some sort of example of that. Yeah, this one is like, she is a very attractive woman. Obviously, she had tens of thousands of OnlyFans followers. And now she don't want to do that. And she's got baptized into some church or other. So, hey, Shadow, what is up, my brother? I am putting another dude on the base with a banner for King Darius because in I'm making this army specifically because you said you wanted Persians.
Yeah.
And in Saga, your leader, I mean, you can put guys on it, you know, it still counts as just your leader. So having the extra guys on there is just for show. But
What's happening, Craig?
Craig L, how you doing, brother? I was making fun of all of the weirdos with pierced noses, saying they're not going to have sex with anybody or wear deodorant or whatever. That's exactly, Patrick, that's what Andrews told her. He was like, you converted a couple weeks ago. Shut up. Sit down. Learn. You know? And just like the Russian mobster said, if you don't know what to say, shut your mouth. The silence will give you an answer. Rest in your back. Well, if you want to rest your back in chat, the link's up there. And of course, you are always welcome. Yeah, I just, guys, I'm sorry. I know some of you don't like when I go off on religious tangents and stuff.
I don't believe that. You're not reading the chat if you think that, you dork fish.
Some do, some don't. I would say though, if somebody starts talking about God and Christ and it like causes you to feel an emotional way, like negative, you might need to do some praying and some crossing yourself, because it's very possible that you're under demons are oppressing you. Now a lot of people will laugh at that and be like, oh, I don't believe that. Well, you know, like the Russian mobster said, if you don't believe in demons, you better start, because
they believe in you.
They believe in you. And sooner or later, you will face them. I mean, so get yourself right. But, yeah, working on Haas's Byzantine army. And I've got my Saricimen, Macedonian Saricimen, and my Greek mercenaries ready to go.
Now,
the thing with the Persian army is you can actually spend a point to take a unit of Greek mercenaries.
It's awesome that you're building that army for me, but I want you to be honest with yourself and admit that you're building that army because you enjoy building armies.
Well, not only do I enjoy building armies, but I have a feeling I know more about this game than you. And I just want to replay the Battle of Gargamella and have Alexander just crush Darius's ass.
And I will be down there in like 3 weeks, and I'm going to spank you at that, and I'm going to headshot your mechs for you.
There'll be no mech headshotting, but we will have to record a battle and then I'll edit it down so that we are
going to play BattleTech while I'm down there.
100%. I've already got my lance. You know that. Orion, Thunderbolt, Griffin, and I think a Stinger or a Wasp.
I already got my lance, and you know that.
Yeah. Except mine is on the really pretty mech sheet cards where it's actually got picture of the mech, but the dots in there. And yes, when we play BattleTech, we play like level 1 rules. We don't worry about artillery and spaceship. 4 Jenners for Hungar.
I will be having a Jenner.
Hungar always takes a Jenner because Hungar always plays Draconis Combine. And so you can expect a Jenner, probably a Javelin F.
Yep.
And then some big
mechs. Warhammer.
Yeah. There'll be a couple. Yeah, there'll be a big mech. There'll be 2 big mechs and 2 smallish mechs. That's just how Hungar always rolls. And I mean, Jenners are.
I use that Jenner to give James the back shots that he deserves.
How you doing, Left Oldest?
God.
No, we just do a straight up Lance on Lance. Keep it simple, stupid. We can usually crank a game out in under 2 hours, like from beginning to end. We do all the cool things. So we got the tiny multicolored dice so we can mark our modifiers as we move mechs. And
Hey, Bo Paints Minis is here.
oh, Bo Paints Minis is here.
Yeah.
He needs to help me paint some of my minis. This freaking pile of gray is killing me.
Stop
But,
buying minis.
But yeah, that's just how we do it. And I'm not even going to talk smack about people who want to play Battletech in other ways. But Hungar and I are definitely like first or second Secession War guys.
Old school.
You know, that's the lore we knew. That's what we're comfortable with. You know, he's got Takashi Kurita, and I've got, you know, Captain General Merrick as our leaders. And, you know, we duke it out. That's what's up.
I'm in charge of the hit locations and missile count and stuff.
Yeah, a lot of times we share the responsibility of because we have the sheets. So, Gamer J, how you doing? Rich entitled pieces of shit that think that Earth and its people and resources all exist to maximize their net worth. I don't know about that. That sounds commie to me. I don't like commies. I do like Seth Skurkowski though.
Craig out says the best way to play Battletech is the way you like it.
And he's not wrong. And
No.
I'm hoping one of these days I will convince Hungar to do a company on company Alpha Strike game.
I've never played Alpha Strike.
I know, and you said you're not really super interested, but I think if you actually sat down and played it, I think you would love it.
You know what? I will play a game of Alpha Strike with you if that's what you want.
Well, you're going to be down for like a week, so
2 weeks.
2 weeks, so yeah.
Yeah.
And I've got all the cool buildings that came in the Alpha Strike box set because my wife bought it for me.
Yeah, I'm thinking about driving down on the 3rd of December. Spending a couple of weeks down there. We're going to do our Christmas with you early, of course. I gotta go see
Christmas late.
Yeah, I gotta go see the kids and stuff. And
I hate Alpha Strike. I don't get it, Bubba. I like Alpha Strike.
Then we're gonna be back up here. So Mom has everything ready for Christmas up here.
So you hang out with the Papa.
Yeah, and I'm probably gonna I'm doing Thanksgiving at my house, but I'm going to do Christmas up here. And then I got to be back up here in January to drive Pop to the eye doctor because he's having cataract stuff done.
Yeah. Craig L says the accident or the absolute truth. I've played Alpha Strike both ways. And if you use the optional rule where the attack value of a mech is how many attacks you get, it actually makes the game better. I mean, it makes it take a little bit longer, but let's be honest, Alpha Strike does not take very long to play. Even company on company playing big points, 300 points or so, you can get a game cranked out in under 2 hours, no problem.
It drives me crazy when people complain about games taking a long time because I play games to have something to do with all my time.
Right. It's
if a game takes some time, that's good for me because I'm playing the game to do something.
That's why sometimes we play Mansions of Madness 2nd edition, because some of those missions, they tell you this mission will take 5 hours.
And
so when you sit down and pick your character and you set up the tiles and listen to the prologue, yeah, you know you're going to be there a while. It's going to be a long, drawn-out adventure, like the one where you're an Innsmouth and you spend like half the adventure running away from the mobs, and then the Sahagin, I want to call them, deep ones come up out of the freaking ocean, and you got to deal with that shit.
Well, what was that one hardcore World War II game that we used to play? Not Axis. It wasn't World War II game. It was just the world game where each person had a country and you could develop.
Oh, you're talking about Supremacy.
Yeah, it would take like days.
So a big game of Supremacy with a lot of players could literally take months.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and apparently they use Supremacy in some colleges. Some college classes were using it to teach the students about geopolitical bullshit. And what they were doing, I read about this, is every country had a team of students, and one would be the president, and one would be the Minister of Defense and Minister of the Interior. You know, they all had actual big jobs like that, and which made the game even crazier because they had to agree with what they were doing. Plus, you could build boomers and just like remove the boomer from the map and secretly write down where it was. So your opponents are always like, oh, shit.
After about the 9th or 10th hour of us playing that game straight, eventually somebody would develop nukes and just start slinging nukes at everybody.
Which means everyone loses.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're playing Supremacy and it devolves into a nuclear war, then the game, everyone lost. There's no winners. The old Civilization board game, 12 hours minimum, yeah.
We played a lot of Axis and Allies, which would...
We played a lot of Axis and Allies.
Like, we'd get everybody together and be like, well, get your countries. We're going to be here all day. And be like, all right, I'll go make some sandwiches.
Yeah, the until I figured out that sneaky thing to do, which is just invade England turn one with everything. And usually you can take England out of the game. And as soon as you got England out of the game, you just send all your forces to the east. And now the Russians are like, oh, shit. You know,
I was never like, oh, shit. I was always like, come and get it.
Yeah, because you always played the Soviets.
They're like, yeah, you may take over the rest of the world, but Mother Russia, we're going to be here.
Yeah. Especially if you had a friend that was playing Japan and you're like, hey, ignore America and send everything through China into Siberia. And it's like, okay. And all of a sudden the Soviet Union's like got screaming Japanese soldiers in Siberia and the Germans are rolling through the plains of Ukraine. And it's just like, yeah, this is not going well. Remember we played with the alternate rule where the Russians had the railroad so they could move infantry quicker along the Siberian Railroad, and they got one free infantryman every turn. Off Grid, what is up?
What up, Off Grid? Woo woo.
Hey. I don't know much about these board games. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Before your time, but it's okay. We used to play, and I still have the one edition of it, the space game where you pick the aliens and then you put the hexes out. And
yeah, one day you might beat me at that game.
Yeah, maybe one day. I always pick the humans.
And I always win through diplomacy and trading.
Right. Yeah, that's a good game. What is it called?
What?
Something universe or whatever like that. There's the cat people and they're like the merchants. Like all they want to do is trade and stuff. And
there's Hungar's group.
And then there's all these different aliens, but I always played the humans anyway, because it was like, you know,
humans.
But
if I wanted to waste a lot of time, I'd just play Civilization.
Yeah, we talked about that.
The video game, not the
Twilight Imperium. I was just thinking about, we used to play Twilight Imperium 3 or 4 player, and that shit would get hairy, man. People making alliances and then breaking alliances, and backstabbing you at the worst possible moment.
I'm not saying that I won that game every time we played, but I won more than I lost.
Hey, that's that's how it works.
Are you drinking an energy drink?
I am drinking a sugar-free tangerine-flavored Monster,
You know those things that kill me.
but not me. Last time I went for a checkup, other than being slightly overweight, my heart and everything is great. I'll probably die of something lung-related
Yeah.
or brain cancer.
Yeah. I know what's going to kill me. It's all good.
Yeah, I kind of know too, because it's what kills most firefighters. You either get lung cancer, bladder cancer, or brain cancer from all the chemicals and shit that you have to deal with.
Good old kidney disease. It's not that uncommon.
It's not. It's what killed Chief Mac.
Yeah.
He said he went to the bathroom one day and his pee come out red as freaking Merlot. And he said he knew. It was, I mean, he was like 75, 80. He was our training captain, but let's see, Merchants of Venus, never played it. My wife and I think one of our favorite games is Splendor.
Oh yeah, if you want to get embarrassed, play that with James's wife.
I've beat her a couple times.
I've won that game twice in my entire life.
The one reason we love it is because Mom likes it.
Oh well, it's a fun game too.
So when Mom comes down, we got to play Splendor.
Not a problem.
Then Carcassonne. Mom likes Carcassonne. That's the one where you put little tiles down.
I like Carcassonne too. Your wife loves to harvest all the trees, though.
Oh shit! Yeah, Stone Age. She's always got her people out in the woods cutting all the woods down.
You got to build something, and you can't because you ain't got no trees.
Yeah, you can't do shit because you need trees, and she's got all the trees. Like, that's not good.
Well, that's not fun.
Yeah, well, that
With
game
Supreme
started
Commander
out
was-
as like a Neolithic tribe with nothing, and you tried to develop your technology and feed your tribe and gather stone and maybe build some huts, and then in the end you count up all the points and you find out you lost.
Yeah.
And that's just how that game goes.
Kind of feels like whenever you're in Supreme Commander and everybody, one person's already wiped out everybody, and you're just sitting there hiding in a corner for the map somewhere.
Right.
Oh, James.
What?
Padre's cooking burritos tonight.
Nice.
Me,
He does good burritos.
I'm getting nachos.
Also,
I'm not allowed to eat nachos.
Yeah, every time he eats nachos, he ends up in the hospital.
I'm sorry.
I love nachos.
But so you guys know some of the videos I'll be making in December. I'll edit them down to get rid of all the BS, so you won't hear me calling my brother tons of bad names. But
I'm sure a lot of people.
This happened. Turn 2. This happened.
I'm sure a lot of people here would like to hear that.
Maybe, but we have a good time.
Oh, also yesterday my brother made some pretty good pizza.
Nice.
Yeah.
You owe me a Coke. It's got to be a Coke Zero though.
How about Dr. Pepper?
It's got to be a Dr. Pepper Zero though.
I like the Dr. Pepper better than the Dr. Pepper Zero.
Okay, back to the original topic just for a second though. If you look online and you see all the women losing their shit, notice that almost every single one of them has their nose pierced.
You know, that kind of bums me out because I used to rock the septum ring, and I look like cool with my big mohawk and the
Yeah.
septum ring, and you
Well, that
know,
was back when Punk was still alive. Punk is dead.
yeah.
Yeah.
It had a good run, but Punk is dead.
Punk
It got
died with the
killed by air
Ramones.
metal, you know?
Now, if you want to be punk, you got to be conservative.
Right, right. I mean, anti-establishment now means you're a Trump supporter, and you know, because you know,
It's because your teachers are all like weird, blue-haired,
Well-
crazy people.
well, let's hope he does what he said he'd do, and he gets rid of the Department of Education. That'll fix a lot of stuff.
Yeah, because it sucks that we went from number 1 to number 24 in the world for education as soon as Jimmy Carter's stupid ass put that in. Ooh, it burns my
Nose
ass.
ring and pink hair is
It was a
alignment
death knell
language.
to our education. It wasn't the only thing that was an issue. Heck, our modern education system needs to be completely redone.
Oh, that'll be good though, Six Nations. I don't know. I'm sure it'd be super boring, but maybe I'll record me getting messed up in Subnautica. I almost lost my submarine last night. I got attacked by 3 Reapers, and they just wouldn't leave me the hell alone.
Oh,
So
no,
I
Reapers.
just ran to like the shallowest part near the crash ship.
My
The
dumbass,
submarine could barely go through it, and they couldn't go through it. So, and
My
I was
dumbass.
at like 5% structural, you know,
We need
whatever.
Captain Shepard. We need to make the catalyst.
So I had to freaking jump out of the submarine with my little repair welder and patch holes up.
I'm gonna go get some lunch, brother.
Well, you have some lunch, my brethren,
Man, I need to get lunch soon too. I forgot about that.
my
YouTube.
sibling.
See, I'm
brother
still
from the same
doing
mother.
streams. I'm just doing them on my brother's channel instead of mine.
Well, I mean, yeah, this is mostly comic because, I mean, other than laughing at these crazy people, I'm not really being super serious about it. I don't really care. It don't affect me, you know. Like when my wife looks at them, she laughs at them too. You know, it's like, what's wrong with
Piece
these
of
people?
chicken grease.
Say,
Yeah,
I'm not.
you be good and have fun, man. So yeah, you know, I don't even want to be mean to these girls. I just wish there was some strong man in their life that could deprogram them. Because these women talking that shit, they need Jesus. That's what they need. That would fix their shit. They need to get their asses to church or something.
Everybody needs Jesus, huh?
Yeah, but these ones don't have it. So
Yeah,
they
no.
need it, you know? If they did that, then maybe they'd be fixed. But yeah. Yeah, exactly, Anderson. You got some 300-pound ugly cow talking about how she's not going to have sex with men anymore. And it's like, I'm having a hard time believing you ever did, you know? Like,
The sad truth is, some people just don't have standards.
well, yeah, one of them just left the stream, but you know, the whole, and why do they keep blaming cis white guys for everything?
Yeah.
Like, you know, our Latino brothers were involved, and a few of our African brothers, they were involved. So how about you guys cut Whitey a break over here? I mean, you know, you don't always have to attack the white guy.
Oh, now they're attacking everybody except for college-educated women.
Yeah, I saw the one woman saying that, you know, that this was the result of uneducated people.
Yeah.
And the other woman was like, see, that's why you lost. You know, you can't call half the nation of idiots and then be surprised when they don't vote for you. You know, it's like, and it's the weirdest thing because, which will be good for some of us, they have not learned a damn thing. You know, they're looking for every excuse for what happened, except that maybe they were dumbasses.
Yeah,
And
that's
maybe
bad.
they shouldn't have talked the way they talked. And maybe they should have focused on the economy instead of abortion. They learned nothing.
Hey, James,
What?
just don't help your opponent when they're failing so miserably.
Yeah, I was saying all of our Hispanic brothers, they were there. You know, I mean, and the majority of the white ladies was there. So these crazy white Karens shaving their heads and flipping out, they need to understand that they're a fringe group. They do not represent women, because women, I was worried about the female vote, and then I saw the whole, like, it broke 60% for Trump, and I was like, okay, we're gonna be good, you know, because that's how it is. If you can get the female vote, then a lot of times you're gonna win.
Yeah. I like this one though. It's like, where's Kamala Harris outperforming Biden? And they show a map, and it's like nowhere.
Right. The people who are cannot define what a woman is and believes a man can have a menstrual cycle, they're angry at you. So,
Yeah, the House is
like I
finally
said,
settled.
this stream was supposed to be comedic, because I know we got to some serious topics, but let's be honest, this shit is just a joke at this point.
It's funny.
Yeah, the House is settled. It's
Yep.
red.
Yep.
And Trump is already making appointments. And let me tell you, the guy he picked to be the border czar, he comes off like a hard ass. Like, that guy is like saying he's going to just start rounding them up. They're going to start with the criminals first and work their way down. So, also, Trump is supposed to declare the cartels in Mexico a terrorist organization, which means we might be sending special forces or drones to take their asses out. So, yeah.
Too good for him, I say.
Yeah, it'd be good for Mexico, because Mexico can't do anything with them. Every time they try,
I'm not
whoever
talking about Mexico there.
dies.
I'm talking about the gangs.
Well, yeah, if he wipes the cartels out, it would be good for Mexico.
I know, but I'm just saying. I say that's just being too nice to the gangs. It's in of itself.
Yeah, because for whatever reason, Mexico can't actually govern itself.
Mm-hmm.
So you end up with a bunch of cartels running everything, and the politicians have to turn a blind eye to what the cartels are doing, or get murdered, you know, gunned down in the street.
Yeah.
So
no kidding,
there's just no easy thing about it, you know. It's like
Mexico should be the way it is.
Yeah, make Mexico great again.
Yeah.
And if that means we got to send the Marines in to wipe out the cartels, well, maybe we do. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time we've invaded Mexico over their criminals. I mean, we invaded, I think, over Pancho Villa, doing shady shit on the border. So, yeah, us invading Mexico, we've done it 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
The problem with Mexico is that it is full of Mexicans. Yeah, I don't think most Americans would go along with that. Like send the Marine Corps in and then be like, tell the Marines, oh, and by the way, you can reproduce with like any Mexican women that you want. You know, if you can't wipe them out, breed them out. Yeah, I don't think the modern world has the stomach for that. Which is fortunately, or maybe unfortunately, I don't, you know, however you want to look at it. But, and it's funny too, like The View, of course, is losing their freaking minds. And Sunny Holston's always on there talking shit. And she's like, I'm a Afro Puerto Rican, but look how pale she is. It's like, chick, you are at least half white. At least half white.
I don't think I agree with Shadow. You start getting that big, and then there's issues about not everybody's going to agree with certain things. It's better to have multiple different countries than one.
Oh,
big
just
full
absorbing
government.
Mexico?
No, he's like we should like basically make it the United Countries of the Earth or something. I'm like, this is not a great idea.
No, but if I were in charge, I would definitely go all imperial and conquer Canada and Mexico.
I don't blame you, but I'm
And
just
then
saying,
I'd think about it for a while and decide if I wanted to go into Central America and South America. Yeah.
we can at least take Brazil.
And then
Come
it
on.
would probably take a couple generations to make everything a uniform culture, but you could do it.
I know, but I'd say we at least have to get Brazil in there so we have nice beaches.
I'm talking about all of it.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, all the way down to freaking. Yeah, we didn't keep Cuba when we owned it because of the Paris Accords. Instead, we got Puerto Rico and the Philippines.
Yeah, I don't think that works. I mean, look at the UN and tell me if that was a good idea.
Yeah, well, hopefully, the guy in charge is going to go ahead and pull us out of the UN.
Yeah, no kidding. That'd be a great thing.
Oh yeah, Cuba. Like Jackson, the game designer, that's kind of a crazy person. He put out a book about what would happen if the Confederacy had won, and the entire Caribbean was Confederate. Because after they managed to get peace with the Union, they just turned south, and the Confederacy conquered Mexico, Cuba, Puerto Rico, all of it.
Just all the islands.
All of it. All the way down to freaking Yucatan was Confederate territory. So
No way of telling if that would be true or not, though. There's a lot of what ifs on that.
yeah, but Steve Jackson, he used to make these amazing books. I don't even know what game system, GURPS maybe. And they were all like alternate history and stuff like that. And they were some of the best role-playing books you could buy.
Nice.
You know, because each book would have like 6 different settings. And it would always be like different things. Like there would be the what if, the Confederacy won? Or maybe you might get the what if the British won the revolution? And America never came into existence. Or what if the Germans won? There were like all of these and then, they were talking about how you could use them for games where the player characters are basically like Time Lords. And they're like traveling through time and trying to fix shit,
Oh, cool. I can play Back to the Future.
Yeah, but there's other people that are actively going out of their way to F things up and, kind of go against whatever it is you're trying to do.
Fair.
But anyway, that's the thing with Steve Jackson. Is he crazy? Yes.
So Star Trek Enterprise on that one.
Is he a freaking stupid ass liberal that signed the Gamers for Kamala thing? Yeah. Did he make some really great games back in the 90s and 2000s? Yeah. I mean, he made Car Wars. He made Ogre. And then he made GURPS, which I don't like, but the GURPS setting books were amazing. To quote, what's his name? Jay Peterson. Amazing.
Amazing.
You know what I'm talking about.
Jesse Lee Peterson.
Yeah. I love that guy. I love that guy. He is the best.
I should. That guy's awesome.
When he's interviewing leftists and he's asking them questions and they're like, they just don't know what to do. And then they'll give him an answer and he'll just be like, amazing, which is his way of saying you're crazy. Because if you answer a question and he just says amazing, that's basically him calling you a retard.
Yes.
You know, that's how Jesse Lee works. You know, you don't want to get the amazing, because that's like the old Southern lady saying, bless your heart. That is exactly that's that vibe right there. That's what the vibe is. Like he'll have anybody on, like literally anyone.
Yeah.
It's like you can call this guy and be like, I want to be on your show, and he'll be like, all right, you know. And then you get asked a bunch of questions, and the quixotic jet. Oh, Star Wars RPG, West End Games. Oh yeah, I got it. I've got it. I've got the source book.
Was it really good?
It actually was really good.
Okay, fair.
And it didn't, I mean, they did later kind of make it where you could add more force users if you wanted, but it was really just about being a normal dude
In the Star Wars
in Star
universe.
Wars, you know?
Okay.
So you
Didn't
might
really
be
care
a
about it.
Jawa mechanic or something. And it uses a Dice 6 pull system, but unlike Shadowrun, the Dice 6 system for Star Wars is actually really good and really simple, because it's like it has the different target numbers. So you just roll your dice and add them up, and if you beat the target number, yay!
Yay.
Instead of Shadowrun, where you got to roll and then count to see if you got successes, and then it's just like sometimes late at night, I have a fever dream of somebody rewriting first or second edition Shadowrun, but using the West End Games dice system. That would be the most amazing thing ever, you know?
I just don't like the setting of Shadowrun.
Oh, I love the setting of Shadowrun. The fact that like Hungar's character was a troll ganger, and he ended up buying a Panther autocannon or some shit.
Well, fair, I guess. I don't know. For me, I like keeping my fantasy and sci-fi kind of not, mixed.
Yeah, a lot of people are that way. A lot of my bros are like, I do not want technology in my fantasy. And I'm like, okay, fair, whatever, right? But a lot of my bros, and especially all the females I game with, they're like all about it. You know, they want to play Shadowrun, or they want to play D20 Modern, but using the Arcana book.
I think that's
Cyberpunk 2020. I own it. It's really good, Bo. I love it. And also, Bo, I put the link out there. You can jump on and talk all the shit about whatever you're working on. I am currently gluing shields to a
ship.
This is called a Nar.
Oh, Nar.
They were very, very common about 9th and 10th century, up to even like the 12th century in the Baltic region, because they could handle some sea travel, and they were really good for river travel. So if you were a merchant, you could cut through the Baltic Sea from Denmark, say, skirt the coast of whatever, and then go down, the rivers to trade. Because a lot of people don't know this, but there's a big river that runs to Kiev, which at the time was the capital of the Kievan Rus Empire. So merchants from Constantinople and all over, Northern Europe would actually take boats to Kiev. And, of course, when the Byzantines showed up, they called them Romans. Because that's what the Byzantines called themselves. There's a movie all about it. It's about Vladimir the Great, the first Russian that converted to Christianity and then converted his kingdom to Christianity. And he ends up marrying the sister of Basil II, also known as Basil the Bulgar Slayer. because he was not super friendly to the Bulgarians. But then again, they did just show up in the empire and just say, okay, this land's ours now. And I mean, come on, you can't have that. 2020 is really good. The only problem with 2020 was you had a 1 in 10 chance of getting like a critical failure or some shit. But other than that, 2020, Friday night fights and stuff like that, hell yeah. Of course, I'm a weirdo. Like when I ran Cyberpunk Red, I ran it based in Florida. And I created my own like Night City, but it was this giant sprawl that basically Miami all the way to Jacksonville had turned into one big mega sprawl, and the players were kind of hanging out there. And that was easier for me since, you know, I kind of know where things are. So when I tell the players that they're on, you know, I-95 heading up from, you know, some neighborhood in Miami or whatever, they would be like totally, there's a bow
Hey, Bo.
and a brick wall.
Hey. Getting an echo.
Are you?
Huh?
Is it me?
Try it again.
How are you?
It's not coming through mine, so
I don't hear an echo.
me neither.
So yeah, glued some shields I had laying around on this thing, and I'll end up having, or not having, but painting them. And then I have
Hey, James, in your Cyberpunk game, did you ever have a Scott Brown moment?
ever have a what?
A Scott Brown moment.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We had some weird moments in Cyberpunk Red. There was the time my wife's character was doing cocaine in a bathroom with the reporter.
Okay.
Yeah, and they become like best friends and shit. My wife's character was a solo, so she was all like, you know, wired up and was carrying around a, you know, assault rifle was what she normally used. And one of the cyber things she had was cybernetic hair. So she could change her hair color basically, you know,
At will.
at will to pretty much anything. Because instead of having hair, it was hair like
Threads or something like
like
what was it called?
plastic.
Fiber optics or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. So that was one of her favorite things. She also had the razors underneath the fingernails. I got a kick out of Miss Mike Pondsmith referencing University of Santa Cruz, California. Brain dance tag. Yeah, Pondsmith, I think, was raised in LA or something. And from everything I've ever heard about him, and I've watched a couple of his interviews, he's like a really cool guy. You know what I mean? Like he's not like ideological. He's not like whatever. He's just,
He seems like a guy you could talk to, and
he's just making games, you know? Like if you saw him at a game convention, he seems like you could walk up and be like, "Hey, I love your game, bro," and he'd be like, "Thanks," you know. Which is good. I mean, that's good on him, you know.
yeah.
Netrunner, Cyber, yeah, they changed the way Netrunners work in Red, and I don't know, it's actually kind of better. Pretty much because the whole internet had been destroyed. Every company, corporation, store, etc., has its own private internet, and you've got to get close to it in order to jack into it. So they're doing the whole, you know, you've got like an overlay that only you can see, and So your net runner can actually fight in a gunfight, but he gets penalties if he's got his overlay up. Because he's looking through something. So Bo paints minis. What are you painting?
I'm actually building some Plague Marines.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You want to do that Nurgle thing, huh?
Well, somebody online had one of the Star Collecting boxes for like dirt cheap. And so I put together all the Poxwalkers. And then I just picked up a couple other sets for super cheap on the second market. So I'm just going to see what happens.
Well, I can tell you right now, when I used to play in 8th and 9th edition, they were pretty strong.
Yeah, they don't have that durability they used to have, but I don't play. I just want to see what I can build. Like I said, I got half of the Dark Imperium box.
Okay.
For really cheap, and you'll get a kick out of this. So I got this job lot, right, for $100, and this metal Nurgle demon was in it.
Huh.
This guy is well over $100 by himself.
Yeah, that's a good deal. Hungar's Chaos Plague Army is still in a box out in the garage because he left it here. But he used to play then, and he's got like the Plague Tank, and he's got what's his name, Typhus,
Right.
and all that.
You're gonna have to get up for some lunch. I'll see you.
I'll see you later, man. So yeah, he went all in on the whole Nurgle army thing. He's got like, I don't know how many stands of freaking Nurglings.
Right. Oh, I don't have any Nurglings. I tell you what I do have. You'll get a kick out of this. What I always liked, and I wish that Games Workshop would really lean into, is having the more of the 30K element in the Chaos armies, especially.
Well, the thing is I quit 30K and started playing 40K. Or no, I quit 40K
Other way around.
and 30K.
Right.
So my Imperial or Emperor's Children army is led by Lucius, the champion.
Right.
And instead of being that stupid miniature with whatever, he's like a big badass in power armor with like 2 swords. One of them, of course, is one of the Lear blades or whatever.
Right.
But I mean, he just looks badass. And then my pops bought me Sanguinius.
All right.
Which, I mean, you could only use Sanguinius if you're playing like a big point battle because,
Sure.
That guy could literally kill a knight.
Right.
Like a Castilian or something, Sanguinius would kill it,
Sure.
Yeah,
but he's about 500 points by himself, right?
Yeah, he's like 5 and change, actually. And then, I picked up all the usual things, the Sicarans and all that. But my favorite unit actually is just standard Space Marine squads, which you can get them in numbers of 10 to 20.
Right.
And I went online and downloaded STLs of Ryan Gosling and Donald Trump's heads. So like 99% of them got helmets, but some of them got the helmet glued to their hip. Like
Right.
They attached it to their belt, and they're either Ryan Gosling or Trump.
Well, I saw the memes with Trump as the God Emperor, and that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, I remember when I think Spain or Italy did a whole thing, and they had a parade, and they had Trump as the God Emperor. And they were doing it because they were supposed to be like showing the world that he's like some kind of fascist or something. But like it backfired because everyone loved it. And that's true of a lot of things in 40K lore. The writers of 40K have always been far left. And they write things thinking that they're making fun of something. But then the actual players of the game love it. And and then it
Lean
becomes
in.
a whole thing, you know.
Yeah. Well, I always look at 40K as satire, and at best, and just a reasonable afternoon of fun at worst. I certainly don't take the lore too terribly seriously.
Yeah, a lot of people don't. And that's 100% fine. I'm one of those people. I've read like most of the Horus Heresy books. And
Right.
no, that's a lie. I've only read like 10 of them, and I think there's 54 of them now.
And they
But
just were supposed to have finished it this year, but they're putting out. They're going to start on the scourge of whatever it is that comes after the siege.
yeah. So I can't say that I've actually, but I mean, really, you only need to read the first three. You know, false gods, whatever, and I don't even remember the names, but those are the ones that cover the actual traders and the battles of Istvan 4 and 5. And if you read those, then you pretty much you got it. I mean,
Right.
that's you're good with your 30K lore. If you read Fulgrim, I mean, that's interesting if you really want to go into detail about what went down with Fulgrim, but it's not necessary, you know,
Right.
not necessary at all. So,
Well, the thing that I like about the Death Guard, and it actually ties in more into the 30K lore, is they're the Oops All War Crimes army. Oops All War Crimes.
well, yeah, because they were using rad grenades and all kinds of crazy shit.
Sure.
And the first Gray Knight was Death Guard guy.
That's interesting. That's what we call ironic.
Yeah, well, he was loyal, and he
Sure.
stayed loyal, and he made it back to the Imperium, and they tested him, and he was 100% loyal. And so they had to figure out what to do with all the loyalists from the fallen chapters. Well, they're called legions. And it turned out that they decided that these men had survived, you know, demonic temptations and all this other stuff, right? So we'll make this unit of them. And that's how you got your silver-plated Psy-Cannon armed freaking.
Right.
But the first one, yeah, I forget his name, but it's all talked about in the fourth book, which is called Eisenstern. Which is about the ship that the loyalists that escaped Istvan was in. And when they saw what was up, they decided, because they couldn't send a message through the warp because the Chaos Gods were blocking all of communications. So they basically just tuck off to Terra.
Right.
And had adventures along the way, but then made it to Terra, and eventually, yeah, you know, that happened. But yep.
And then another thing I kind of like about the Death Guard is that they all became demonic accidentally.
Yeah,
And it was all up to Mortarion. And so the Death Guard legionaries, they hate Mortarion too.
Well, it was because when they were all dying of that plague, Nurgle was like, if you choose to follow me, I'll save your men. And Mortarion said, okay. But he didn't understand what that meant, I guess. Because, I mean, Nurgle did save them. But he also gave them every disease imaginable. And then they can never die of them. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and really the guy who was behind the whole thing was Typhus.
Right.
He had been worshiping Nurgle for like years before Mortarian even knew anything was up. Yeah, it was an epic meme that they thought was going to be insulting, depicting Donald Trump as the God Emperor. And it turned out just to be an epic meme that most people love. Because, it's the God Emperor of mankind and his golden armor being all, a super Chad. And they just put Trump's head on it. And it's like, well, I don't know who you're trying to offend, but I'm not offended by any means by this. This does not offend me, But like I said, a lot of those people, they're the same kind of people that are shaving their heads and got nose rings and freaking divorcing their husbands over an election and shit like that. Can you really trust a person that would divorce you over an election?
Well,
No.
I've been married for 20 years, and I tell my wife she can vote for anybody she wants. I don't even care. She doesn't need to tell me anything.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that she's very libertarian, so I don't think that she would have voted for Harris. But it's also none of my business.
My wife is more hardcore than I am. Like when I joke about being a Christian fundamentalist and a Christian nationalist and stuff, my wife is way, way more. So I don't even worry about it. You know what I mean? Because she's very traditional in her beliefs.
Right.
So, which is, I guess, why we get along so well.
Uh-huh.
But I wouldn't I've never told her she had to do anything because that wouldn't work. Because she's not really the kind of woman you tell to do things. You can ask her, but
Right.
Chaos corrupts, brother. Thank you for your service. Never forget. Yep. Chaos corrupts.
I like the paint, and I think that these guys are going to paint up really, really cool. And I think they're going to be really challenging to paint because I don't want them to look too garbagey. I know that people think that Nurgle is easy because Nurgle's garbage. Right. But I think it's a challenge to make bad look good.
Well, you know what you could do? If you wanted to be hardcore, you could put them all together, but then paint them up in their 30K colors.
Okay, hold on. You're reading my mind, but I don't want you to hold on. I got something here I want to show you. I'm going to paint this one up in the 30K colors. It's Demos Pattern Rhino.
Yep. Because it's just pale green and white, like an ivory.
Right, and really dirty. And then I'm going to put some green stuff, tentacles on it. And the missile, got to put the missile launcher on it because it's, a 40K rules. So
Havoc missile, yeah.
And then maybe buy some 3D printed spikes.
Yeah, you'll be set, man. You'll be set. But how you doing, Dean? Welcome back. We were just discussing painting of 40K figures and a little bit of lore.
Yep.
The other person on the screen here with me is painting some Death Guard guys. Whereas I don't actually play 40K at all. I play 30K. I pretty much have gotten rid of the majority of my 40K stuff. Unless it was compatible.
Right.
So I didn't get rid of my knights and stuff because I've got a knight army. And knights are 100% compatible with 30K, night houses and whatever. So those got kept. I still have Hungar's Nurgle Greater Demon. What's it called? Lord of Filth or whatever. Big fat ass demon.
Oh, the son of a bitch. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
I don't. Yeah, I kind of. I don't want any characters like that. I'm not, again, even if I decide to play later on and I'm not really planning on it, I want to keep like I don't want to have really named characters in my army.
Well, my Emperor's Children army is led by Lucius, but I have a Keeper of Secrets. I have the Herald of Slaanesh. I have about 30 demonettes.
Right.
And I have some demonettes that are mounted on the Slaanesh steeds, whatever they're called. So depending on how I feel, I can actually just field a demon army.
Right.
Because I've got enough figures. No, they sell nice, and they used to not be terribly expensive, but now they're like $150 a piece.
Oh yeah, they're incredibly expensive.
So I lucked out when I got mine, and I'm actually I've still got an Orc Gargant over here, or Stampa, and I don't even have orcs, but I've got a Stampa. Let me see.
You would be better off buying the biggest Gundam kit you could find and kit bashing it into a knight, and it would still be cheaper.
Oh yeah, like by a lot. Where is? Okay, there's my Lancer. There's that. Where the hell is my Castellan? I don't know. He's up there somewhere. I mean, I pretty much play a lot of the old school Games Workshop games, though. So, like, I mean, here is my Eldar battleship.
Right.
So, I just put base colors on him, and I have every fleet for Man of War.
Nice.
But I always play the Bretonians. I like the Bretonian galleons and corsairs. I just love them. So anytime I'm playing, and Hungar always plays the dwarves, and the dwarves always, all their ships are like monitors from the Civil War,
Oh, ironclads?
Yeah, they're all like ironclads. And so it's really a battle of his slow but super armored ships versus my fast, heavily gunned wooden ships. It's when we play it, it's always interesting because no one is ever guaranteed to win.
Right.
It's sometimes a pain in the ass when you shoot, like, you broadside a dwarven ship and like nothing penetrates.
Right.
And you're just like, meh.
There you go.
No. Here is, I customized this a lot. This is one of my cars for my Gaslands team.
Nice.
You can tell I used extra 40K
Right.
implements on it, but like the engine, I got in. You can buy for like $9 these kits from Ronaldo or whatever.
Yeah, Renedra, right.
And they're like, they come with like all of the different gubbins that you might need to.
I like Renedra. They make my favorite plastic bases because they're super thin.
Yes, some people love the super thin bases. I typically just use GW bases, but I also like to glue magnets on the,
I like the Renedra bases because when I put things like, I'll show you. Here's an old Fantasy Battles wizard, and I put it on a Renedra base, but then I put some cork on top of it to build up some height, and it's still thinner than a regular Games Workshop base.
Catch you
Maybe not the
later,
same size.
Six Nations, bro.
So that's what the Renedra bases look like. And then I drilled holes in it to magnetize it.
Yeah, here is one of my sergeants for a Tartarus, I think Tartarus pattern Terminator squad.
Right.
So he's got I don't even know what the thing on top is, but he's got his combi bolter and a power maul.
Right.
Because, of course, in 30K, they didn't have storm bolters. So everyone has combi bolters.
Right.
This guy is not in the same squad because it's a different kind of Terminator, but he's sporting a big freaking autocannon.
Yeah.
Which is the typical thing, except one of the advantages of playing Blood Angels, it turns out, is you're the only army that can use chain guns.
Oh.
Yeah, because they were experimental weapons.
Right.
So no one else can use a chain gun but you. This is a boarding guy, a bastion or whatever they call him. See how he's got his shield. He's got a melt gun.
Oh, he's got a breaching shield. Yeah.
Yeah. So these guys, they get like a bonus save or something. But yep. And then one of the most deadly units in the game, and I forgot what they're called, but I need to fix his eyes. That one eye don't look right. These guys right here. You can get them in units of 10 to 20. And their thing is when they inflict casualties on an enemy unit, you get to pick.
Oh, right.
So you can kill the enemy sergeant, special weapons guy, whatever, which is brutal. And they've got a really long range. So, yeah. All right. I'm actually looking for some cowboys that I made and painted a while back. There's a Chaos Marine with a las cannon. Chaos Marine with an auto cannon. Oh. I haven't painted this guy yet, except for the head a little bit, but
all right.
It's an officer, but he's got a Ryan Gosling face. So
that's awesome.
And he's super fancy. I think I was thinking this guy was going to be like, a guard, like, an elite guy. And I made him out of a character that you can buy, like Fenrir, the whatever. He comes with the double axes. I had to do some cutting and stuff. Then I had to I went through some old Sanguinary Guard kits I had and got some shoulder pads for him. So I basically took what was supposed to be an Imperial Guard guy and made him a Blood Angel. And why he's in that I don't know. He needs to be in this so that I'm looking at him and I can remember he needs to be painted. Which they're super easy to paint. I just paint them white and then go over them with Army Painter red. And then do a dry brush with bright red. And then shadow, and if they need more of a dry brush to bring them back up,
right,
I will. But a lot of times they don't, and they're made for a war game anyway, so not too worried about it.
22. I
Yeah.
just got done with a 12-hour shift at the hospital.
Oh yeah. What do you do at the hospital, bro?
I'm a nurse at the VA,
Oh, nice.
and
So you're probably the only nurse there that's not sleeping with the firemen,
boo.
or maybe you are. I don't know. I'm not going to judge you.
And
I'm just talking from my experience when I used to be on the job. All the ER nurses, not the normal nurses, the ones that worked upstairs, like in the stroke ward or something. They were good girls, but the ER nurses were filthy. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's seeing all that blood and death all the time does something.
I hate ER nurses.
Yeah,
You
we
know
used
how
to
you
call
can-
them puppets.
They're dumb as shit, and they lie all the time.
Yeah,
They
we used to
lie
call them
and they
puppets
lie and
because
they lie. Yeah, your patient's great. He's not great. They think I can't read their charting.
do anything unless a doctor actually tells them to. So we'll be all like, "Hey, go get your puppet master. Get this guy on some high flow too, or something. You know, what are you doing?"
Yeah.
And I think it pisses them off that because paramedics work under a doctor's license, in the truck, we can basically do anything we want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like,
And they still get paid for shit.
yeah, I got paid for shit. $11.
They all do. I tell you what, the last time a firefighter made fun of me for being a nurse, and he talked about what he did on the truck, I said, you know what I do that you don't? I cash paychecks.
Yeah. That's a fact. If you want to make money, you go become an ER nurse or something. Or RN, I mean. Something like that. And you'll be making six figures or close to.
Yeah, the VA pays pretty well. I'm really happy working for the VA.
I'm glad, man. It's good to hear anybody being happy about working for their job. So many people just absolutely hate what they do, and it's sad, really.
Well,
But-
it pays the bills.
Oh, well, I loved my job. But in order to do my job, you got to love it, because a sane person would never do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I talked to my oldest boy. He wanted to go into the medical field. He wanted to go to pharmacy school.
Not a bad choice.
I told him that it wasn't worth that the juice was not worth the squeeze. And now he's studying to be an engineer because engineers way more money for way less stress.
Well, I mean, my nephew went to engineer school engineering at Auburn.
Yeah.
Got out, and now he is a O2 in the Navy and on a submarine, and his job is taking care of the nuclear reactor.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you get through engineer school, I mean, yeah, you can get jobs.
Yeah.
For
No,
sure.
my son wants to do mining engineering.
Well, those guys, you know what? Miners these days actually make a lot of money.
Well, they've got all these mines all over the world looking for engineers that can, run operations. So he wants to go travel. Got those new mines in Brazil and Australia and Siberia, Mongolia.
Australia, nothing but a mine. Like the whole western part of Australia is just a giant strip mine.
Yeah, copper mine. Yeah.
They're just cranking it out over there. So, which is good. I mean, whatever. But yeah, back in my grandpa's day, coal miners didn't get paid for shit.
Oh.
But nowadays, if you can get on as a coal miner, those dudes make some serious cash. Make America great again, brother. Woman in the workforce, am I right? I don't know. I mean, my wife works and makes like way more money than I do. And she works kind of in the medical field, but not. It's more like the insurance field.
Right.
But yeah. But then again, I went to trade schools and stuff, and she got, a double degree in business management and something else. She got good degrees. And so, that allowed her to get a job where she could make the money, Like when I used to bring my check home from the fire department, I didn't even want to look at her check. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
And we had separate bank accounts anyway, but it was like, yeah, I don't even want to see it, because I already know that you made like 3 times what I did. And she's like, well, as long as we're paying the bills, who cares?
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, that's true. I mean, she has paid our mortgage down. In 3 years, she's paid our mortgage down like $40,000 or something, 48,000.
Right.
So
good.
even we got like a 15-year mortgage, but at the rate she's going, it'll be paid off in 10.
Right. All
So
right. It's almost time for me to sack out.
oh yeah, you work night shifts, bro?
Yeah. I work nights all the time, bro. All the time. Always the night shift. 10 years I've worked the night shift.
That differential though, too.
Yeah, and also with the federal government, the night weekend differential is like 35%. So
Damn. Yeah, where I work, my station, it was 99% medical calls. Like we
Yeah.
did get some woolly fire calls occasionally, but the vast majority of the time it was someone having a diabetic thing or whatever,
right.
and you just roll on them and pick them up and then take them to the hospital,
I might have to paint this guy in sub assemblies. I don't want to.
Some of those guys, because of how chunky they are and the way their arms are, yeah, sometimes you have to paint them in sub assemblies. I mean, I put a whole army together, but you know how you said about some people just paint them to look like they're covered in poop?
Right.
I actually got the Death Company spray painted
Right.
them all, and then went over them with like Agrax Earthshade and stuff like that.
Right.
And then did a light dry brush with Plague Green or whatever it was, and painted the weapons, and the shoulder stuff. And that's pretty much all I did,
This is the sergeant, and he has got the best iteration of a power fist and plasma pistol that I've ever seen on a GW Mini. His power fist has like claws, and his plasma pistol looks like something out of a steampunk book.
Well, his power fist, if it's got claws, is it a power fist or a lightning claw?
Now it's got fingers. It's like Freddy Krueger claws,
Right. Which means you could say it's either.
Well, it's whatever the chaos rules say it is. So I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know the chaos rules.
If it's got big ass claws on fingers like Horus,
like Horus,
then it could be. You could say it's a power fist, or you could say it is a lightning fist.
It's freaking awesome.
What it is. What you see is what it is, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that's actually, I know the character you're talking about because I probably painted 2 of them.
It's the Chaos Sergeant or Champion or whatever they call it.
Yeah, they're champions. You got lesser and greater champions. Yeah, 30K is wild because other than a few minor differences, all the armies are basically the same.
Right.
So if I play Blood Angels versus somebody's World Eaters army, other than a few special units or whatever, it's just Marines fighting Marines. You know what I mean?
Right.
The World Eaters, of course, they've got their super duper close combat guys, but then again, as the Blood Angels do too. So, it's like, yeah, we can do close combat too, buddy.
Right.
So, and this is before the Blood Angels started getting the rage and everything,
Right.
the Black Rage. So,
Sure, because they didn't get that until Sanguinius died, right?
right. So, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Even though you can take characters in the Chaos Army that are like basically mages, and if you're going to play the game and use demonic forces, you have to take them because they're the ones that summon the demonic forces. And of course, chaplains are totally different too, because, the Marines don't believe the god is actually that emperor is a god. So, they're not going to be all like, the whole point of a chaplain is just like someone to talk to.
Right. It's like a morale officer.
Yeah. They're just keeping the morale up and making sure nobody's got any mental issues that need to be handled. So, yeah. I got these 3D printed on Etsy because they were like 33 cents each. These
Bases?
little movement trays.
Oh,
And
movement trays. Yeah.
so you can put magnets in them.
Right. Oh, magnets. That's cool.
Yeah, I pretty much magnetize all my bases. Because, I mean, if you're playing with certain figures. Now, for Space Marine, I haven't, but you can get they do sell movement trays for 40K.
Sure.
The difference is they're not all perfectly square and in rank. They're all kind of scattered around, but they're still within their unit cohesion rules.
I'm still trying to figure this out. All right. Like I said, I've been out for about 20 hours now.
Well, if you need to go. I'm
gonna rack out for a little bit, but I wanted to get some hobbying. When I hobby on a stream, it keeps me accountable.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I'm the same way. I always get way more painted and done when I'm streaming. I don't know why, but which is one of the reasons I stream so much, because some people will be like, damn, James, that dude's streaming like every day. And I say, this is why.
Well, you took a little break for a while, didn't you?
Well, yeah. We had to go basically everywhere. Like my niece graduated from Indiana, Bloomington.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Yeah, she got a double degree in, I don't even know what the hell it is.
Sure.
And so we drove all the way up. Well, first we drove to Indiana, then we drove to Kentucky, and then I hung out on my mountain for a while, which was nice. Then we drove to Georgia to see my sister-in-law, and we hung out there. Then we came home, and then like literally a week later, we drove to Gatlinburg, Tennessee. No, first Georgia, then Gatlinburg. And then from Gatlinburg, we went up the back way into Kentucky. So we went through Carolina, and we went through the Smoky Mountain National Park Trail.
Nice.
Well, my wife was not as impressed because the roads were very narrow and it was a mountain. Hey, what's up, Nerdy Ogre? How you doing, bro? So she was not super comfortable having, gotten so used to driving in Florida. And then all of a sudden, you're climbing a mountain. But we made it. And we snuck up on my mom and hung out there. And that was amazing. And again, I got to run up my mountain, which I always love. And yeah, so basically you get what I'm saying.
I do get what you're saying.
We were just all over the place. Because I was getting like messages on Discord from people being like, "Where you been, man?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, I am currently in Kentucky. As a matter of fact, Vic came to Florida to go to a convention, and he's sending me messages and shit. And he's like, "Hey, dude, I'm in Orlando. Do you want to hook up and hang out? Are you going to this convention and all that?" And I'm all like, "Bro, I am in Kentucky right now." He's like, "What? Sorry, man. Maybe next time, you know." Which it would have been a ton of fun hanging out with Vic at the con, but
Right.
did not happen. Poor Vic was abandoned because I was in Kentucky.
I can't even get this. I can't even get this cape put on. I'm so shaky right now. All right.
Yeah, that sucks, man.
It's all right. It's okay. I'll take a 3 or 4 nap and I'll come and do it again. I got 5 days off
Nice.
because I
Another
worked.
good thing about,
I worked just about 6 days in a row.
right. Yeah, that was one of the things I really liked about my old job was the work one day, off 2.
Right.
Even though sometimes your first day off, you're just recovering
Sure. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm gonna go recover.
because, you've been through the ringer and got 20 calls in a 24-hour shift. So it's like eating on the run and being up all night. So you get home and you go to bed. But then after you wake up, man, it's time to do whatever you want to do. Go fishing. I don't know how you are about outdoor stuff, but
Yeah, I'm gonna try to take my wife on a long week, a little mini vacation this week. We're gonna go down to southern Utah. I hope.
Oh, nice.
We just got our first big snow of the year, and I'd like to escape that winter weather for a minute. Go down south and.
Well, I mean, could take her skiing, right? I heard Utah is nice for skiing.
It is. We like the outdoor stuff, but we don't ski. But we like to camp and hike.
Right,
So-
right. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Me, I'm a fisher or hunter.
Right.
And I'm kind of stoked because I recently purchased a 300 Blackout rifle.
Right. You got pigs down there? Because that's a great pig rifle.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We got wild pigs down here that weigh 350, 400 pounds, dude.
Well, yeah,
And
300 Blackout would be great for that.
And will eat your ass up. Well, I think it's probably a good round for the deer we got in Kentucky.
Yeah, the smaller deer. Sure.
But it's like 220 grain subsonic.
Yeah, absolutely. Then you got to get your stamp, man. Get a stamp, put a can on it.
Well, what they have, and it's legal, at least now it's legal, we'll see, is they have this thing called an inline flash suppressor.
Right.
And it's basically like a runaround of a suppressor.
Right.
Because it's totally legal, just like any flash hider on the end of your rifle. Right. But it's about, 6 inches long and all of the vent holes face forward. So it makes the rifle really quiet, especially with subsonic. And they're not even that expensive, man. That's another thing about it. It's like I was looking at it, but first, before the hunting season, I found a kind of knockoff brand of an ACOG, and it's like 1/5 the price, Because
the Holosuns are not bad.
Right. Because the freaking ACOGs are like $1,700.
Right.
And that's like almost twice what I paid for the rifle.
Right.
But the rifle, I did get both uppers. I got a 300 upper and a 5.56 upper.
Right.
So, not that I would ever take a 5.56 hunting anything except maybe squirrel or groundhogs.
Coyotes.
Yeah, stuff like that. Maybe little hogs, but I mean, usually I use a Remington 700 tactical, and it's got like a times 10 scope on it.
In most states, it's illegal to hunt anything bigger than varmints with a rifle smaller than a 270.
Yeah. Well, yeah, my Remington's a 308.
Right. Or at least a
But it's your
264.
standard bolt action. They call it the tactical because it's just black and
Right.
It's got the bull barrel. So the barrel looks really thick. But I can't tell you exactly what the purpose of it all is. Where you going,
Look cool.
baby?
All right. I will. Thanks for letting me on. I will talk to you later. I hope.
Get off.
I'm gonna try to lay on the couch until I got to pick my kids up from school.
Get some sleep, bro. And I'm going to take off too and ride out with the wife. So there you go. This is the stream. We made fun of weird women with pierced noses shaving their heads. Talked about 40K, and we worked on our various projects. Remember, comment if there's something you want to talk about or you want to hear me talk about. All you got to do is comment it. I do requests. So peace and love to all of you. Stay safe, and I will catch you later.